please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So you will have noticed I do not make many videos on the life cycle of the larger African swallow. Why do I not make many videos on the life cycle of the larger African swallow? Well, several reasons. I mean, firstly, it sounds really boring, right? It sounds really mind-meltingly boring. Also, I don't know much about the life cycle of the larger African swallow. So much so, I can't even remember if it was if a larger African swallow was the example I was given. I don't know much about it, but so I don't normally weigh in. Actually, I don't talk much about British politics either, other than everybody seems to be a disaster, right? Everybody seems to be a complete disaster. I mean, I know, I've been watching Liz Truss with Prince Charles, like announcing Prince Charles, and it all just seems kind of like nobody feels like they should be there. Like, he just doesn't feel prime ministerial, and he doesn't feel very kingly either. I know. Listen, it's been 70 years since we had one monarch. It's going to take me a few days to get used to a new one. But yeah, it just I just don't know much about it, right? So I don't weigh in on things that I don't know much about. Now, why? Why is it that I don't weigh in on things I don't know much about? Well, because I don't like making myself look like a schmuck, right? I don't like it. It's not one of my favorite things at all. Tzvi, they asked me, Tzvi, do you like making yourself look like a schmuck? I'm like, nah. Not really up for that at all. So I don't really go in for that. You know who doesn't mind making themselves look like a schmuck? It's the media. It's the media, because they have no self-awareness whatsoever. So we have we have a couple of art. Actually, we have three. I don't know how many we're going to get to, because there's a lot to take the piss out of here. Of idiot shill media discussing what's wrong with Doctor Who. Not all the stuff they said was great. We're not talking about the Jodie Whittaker ears. Her ears were fine. Actually, I want to say, Jodie Whittaker's ears were perhaps one of the only parts of her body that would convince me that they belong to Doctor Who. Nah, not so much there either, right? No. They want to fix all the bits of Doctor Who that they think needs to be fixed. Most of which, again, is perfectly fine and comes from an incredibly deep-seated lack of knowledge and understanding of Doctor Who, which I don't know. Like, again, why would you want to write articles and make videos about it? I don't know. Maybe they just like me. Maybe they just want to give me things so I can take the piss out of. Look, I appreciate the low-hanging fruit, especially there. I am freaking exhausted. That's how many days it's been. I tested positive for the Rona, for COVID on Saturday, right? So it's been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, 3 days. 3 days I've been in isolation. Lockdown, that's what I'm looking for. I've been locked down in my house with my wife and my daughter, also suffering, not suffering, from, I take that back. My wife was really suffering with COVID. I've had it mildly, but man, am I tired, right? I am super duper low energy, so I appreciate the low-hanging fruit. And, you know, I also appreciate the low-hanging fruit because there is no Doctor Who news whatsoever right now. It is dry as a bone. I think on Thursday the new Doctor Who magazine is coming out, and that's where I think when they're going to start the pre-publicity for whatever the name of the specialist they still haven't done. Like, Chris, mate, no one gives a shit, right? I honestly, I mean, like, his approach to secrecy is so weird. Like, I don't want to tell anybody the weeping angels. I mean, Doctor Who fucks. We all know. We saw the pictures. Oh no, I want to surprise them. No, we all know. We all knew about this. We all know. Okay, we all know everything. Okay, you're not surprising us. But anyway, they're going to start the publicity very slowly. I think very slowly, very poorly, because I don't know. I have a feeling they just don't want people to watch it because it's not going to go well for them now, is it? No, do you think it's going to go down well? Not really. But it's going to go down well for me because you know, I like a bit of a laugh. Me anyway. We got the Egyptian Shield media trying to explain how to fix Doctor Who. And the things they want to fix, it's insane. It's totally insane. Before we get into it, like, share, subscribe, all those things are very, very good. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. And again, there's a lot to take the piss out of here. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Sign up my Substack, my email newsletter. That's where you can find me. Whenever I am inevitably banned from YouTube. Yeah. So if you can sign up, that it's totally free. I put out a bunch of free stuff on it as well. Like, I'm serializing the old Dan Dare strips from the 80s right now that had never been reprinted. I think it's so weird they've never been reprinted. And they were great, lovely artwork. I really, really enjoyed those. Anyway, I was in the 1980s Eagle, right? If you recall, they even had a TV ad, right? A TV ad for Eagle, which had the photo strips Doomlord in it, and is that the one? Did you get a free Space Spinner? You got a Space Spinner with the first issue of 2000 AD. I think you got something like that with Eagle as well, a little Eagle badge. I remember the ad, okay? I remember the ad. Okay, why do I remember the ad? Because it was normally next to the Shake and Vac ad. Now, why would I remember the Shake and Vac? Okay, this is all true. Okay, this is fine. This is all true. Why do I remember the Shake and Vac ad? The Shake and Vac ad. Now, Shake and Vac is this powder you would put over your carpet, right, before you would vacuum, or as we said in England, Hoover, and then it will make the carpet smell better or something. But there was a woman who did a song, right, with you put the powder, do the shake and vac and put the freshness back there. And also, I thought she was really hot. Okay, I thought she was really hot, and the Eagle ad was so often right next to it for some reason in my own fevered imagination. Okay, please comment if you remember the shake and vac lady. She had a lovely ass. Okay, shake and vac lady had a lovely ass. I don't know where she is or who she is, but she had a lot. And I don't want to objectify her. I think she has many, many other great qualities. Probably a fantastic thespian. All I know is she had a great ass in that ad. Okay, so yeah, I don't know how do we go to that. I don't know. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Comment about the shake and vac lady. That'd be good. Sign up my Substack, sign up my paid Substack. Fine, let's have a look at this article. I hope there's more articles that come up with that. I can talk more about the shake and vac lady. Okay, I'm coming up. I'm getting all sweaty now, like getting all excited. Fine, first article, maybe the only one, because it might just go on too long to take the piss out of this. Doctor Who, 10 aliens with the most absurd weaknesses. Now, you're going to look here on the picture of the Daleks and Sontarans, you think, oh, I bet they're going to come with something intelligent. No! It's going to be the dumbest, most basic bitch stuff you could possibly imagine. Doctor Who must have some of the greatest aliens of all, in all of science fiction. I don't know. How do you say an alien is great? Like, I don't know. I mean, I like Doctor Who, but is a Sontaran any better than a Klingon? I don't know. Okay, they're good. Okay, they're good. I'm being nitpicky. But that doesn't stop these weaknesses from making them any less laughable. Well, I mean, the only one that had like an insane amount of weaknesses were the Cybermen, and that's only because they forgot in between stories, right? They're allergic to gold, no plastic, no lead, emotions, something, I don't know. Across 60 years of television, Doctor Who has graced audiences with some of the most iconic monsters in all of science fiction. Okay, you just said that, mate. You just said that. Okay, you're not saying anything new. From Daleks to Cybermen to Weeping Angels, the show has always been able to conjure up nightmares that children can both imitate and cower. No, imitate's really important, right? Imitate is really, really genuinely very important. When they did that first episode in the revival, Rose, you had Mickey. Oh, by the way, I think Noel Clark played Mickey. Always like Noel Clark. There's apparently another article coming out on Friday, like just eviscerating the claims against them of sexual impropriety. Now, I don't know if the claims really are valid or not. They seem deeply invalid to me, right? They seem deeply invalid. But there's a new article coming out on Friday, I believe. But yeah, Mickey, right? I'll talk about Mickey. The reason he gets swallowed up by an Alton garbage can or rubbish bin in America in in rows was specifically because they knew the next day on Monday when they went to school, or Sunday or something, is the day you put the wheelie bins out, right? And Rusty Davis, imagine the kids going to their wheelie bins, right, when they in the wheelie bins, be able to play. Yeah, adding playability into it is a really good idea, right? It's a really, really very good idea. Imitate and cower, right? Despite the clout Doctor Who has received from its monstrous creatures, the program has also been fairly ridiculed for its absurdities. Not by me, mate. I quite like its absurdities. A fact that renders some the scariest villains laughable. It might be. I mean, what? I mean, look, the Chris Chibnall depiction of Weeping Angels really depowered them. They're basically a taxi service of some sort, and not that much more. I mean, the more the less mystery they had, the less interesting they were, the less scary they were. Fine. It might be cruel to poke fun at the Weeping Angels' inability to look in a mirror. That's the whole point of them. Like I don't understand. That was a good thing, right? But Doctor has always had enough tough skin to withstand a few criticisms about alien weaknesses, but no tough skin whatsoever to withstand criticisms about Jodie Whittaker. Again, it still blows my mind that if you said, "Oh, that she was really very, very bad in that episode," you got called like bigots, racists, the most weird things. Anyway, number 10, and this shows you what's basic idiot bottom bitch. Bomb bitch is a good thing, right? Do you know what bomb bitch means? Bomb bitch apparently is if you are a pimp, right, and you have a stable of young ladies who are ladies of the night, hoes, I think is the other word for them. The one in charge is called the bottom bitch, because I think the other ones give them her money, and she gives it to the pimp. I don't know. But that bottom bitch is apparently a good thing. I didn't know that. There you go. I learned that from the Shield. Daleks, classic Daleks can't climb stairs. Fuck off. Fuck off, you fucking moron. I mean, again, if you've never seen Doctor fucking Who, then why are you writing about it? First, in the 60s, you had the very, very cool hoverbouts. And the only time you actually got to see a hoverbout, the first time you got to see a hoverbout was in, I think it was in 93, right? More than 30 years in the TARDIS. Kevin Davis directed it. He had this. He filmed these extra bits in it. He got this great little Dalek on a hoverbout footage, right? That they put in that. But I think in Planet of Daleks, didn't they have the Dalek in the poetry story? Didn't they have them going up that little chimney thing as the Doctor was going up the chimney too? I can't remember, right? It was coming up somewhere. I can't remember. But listen. Remembrance of the Daleks, one of my all-time favorite Dalek stories, right? I've been thinking about it. My favorite Dalek story is Evil of the Daleks right now. I freaking love Evil of the Daleks. That is just an all-time classic. But I think number 2 is Remembrance. Absolutely love Remembrance. Why? Because that awesome cliffhanger, right? And I think that was the first thing that Robert Sherman wrote when he is it that when he wrote Dalek, right? The scene where they go upstairs, he goes elevate, right? Look, this is stupid. I mean, and they've worked around it a long time. And they had them flying around in Revelation of the Daleks, just not very convincingly. Okay, one of the Daleks are the Doctor's most dangerous creatures. Well, the most dangerous creature, actually. I mean, 3 Daleks wiped out all the Cybermen. So, which I thought was a bit naff. They have a history of being treated like jokes in the classroom. Well, they would. I mean, for a long time. Several times they've been defeated by a hat placed on their eye stalk or being pushed around by ordinary humans. Well, it was. I mean, you got to use a bit of dramatic license to imagine what's going on. I mean, I don't know how the Egyptian slaves managed to take out was it one or more Daleks with a bunch of spears? But they did. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. I mean, there's got to be some kind of way to explain it, but it doesn't really bother me. It was fun, right? It was fun, comic booky type Dalek stuff. I mean, you want to see what they really thought what Daleks were like in the 60s. Watch the Dalek movies, where it's very much a normist view of the Daleks. So they're like just naughty creatures with flashy lights and angry. They don't really have they don't really have any of the Dalek Dalek lore that we come to know and love. So I don't know. I don't think they're being entirely correct there. Okay. Most egregious in the classic Doctor Who was the Daleks' inability to climb stairs. Fuck off! Yes, they could. Idiots. Given just about how capable the Daleks are at conquering planets, it remains laughable they were thwarted by stairs for the longest time before stories like Remembrance of the Daleks and Dark Light. Well, no, again, also, I'm pretty sure and that was one that what was it? Revelation of the Daleks, the Colin Baker one. They had that bit, and they redid the special effects badly for the DVD release, where the Dalek that had just the glass Dalek that just made itself was then at weird different angles because it was supposed to give the idea that it was flying around, right? Overcome such a minor obstacle. Okay, piss off. This Slovene explode when explosive vinegar. Why is that crap? I understand. I mean. That's like somewhere on the Slovene planet they go Raxacophocoreus. I'm doing pretty good. By the way, that was my favorite bit. That's one of my favorite scenes of the Eccleston run, right? Where they're trying to work out where they're from, and they're going through all the details. They have a drive, and at the same time they're trying to like break into Mickey and Jack is like, that's great, man. I remember how good it was there. And eventually it was Harriet Jones saying, when they fart, excuse my pardon my English, it smells like rotten eggs, and it's like calcium decay, and that's how he comes out. Raxacophocoreus. I think there's a few more syllables in there. Anyway, there's a theme of first introduced season 1 or series 1 of episode Aliens of London. Fantastic as well. You just knew Doctor Who was super on the map by this time. Yeah, this was the one where they had that incredible effect shot of the Slovene ship crashing into Big Ben and into the Thames. By then, Doctor Who was it was episode 4, I think. Even by then, it was already huge. People were like, bloody hell, this Doctor Who's not bad. It's not embarrassing or silly. I quite like it, right? And I think it's one of the ones that really solidified it. They've also put it in the real world while at the same time developing its own world for it. Whereupon they attempt to take a Great Britain and start a nuclear war. I mean, the farting all the time was sillier, wasn't it? But again, this is for kids to be able to make fun of and play with. They don't take over Britain to start a nuclear war and harvest the energy for profit. Yeah, no, I remember they have the Slovene Prime Minister, right, saying, was it not weapons of mass destruction, massive weapons of destruction, because it just came out that George Bush had lied his ass off to see. This is the thing that always amazes me, right? He lied his ass off to do the Gulf, to take out, Iraq, right? Oh man, I'm getting confused. It's too long ago now, right? To go to war with Iraq. But here's the thing: if they're gonna lie to people, like they do today, right? This is what I don't understand. Why don't they just fabricate evidence? Like, why didn't they just Photoshop a few missiles onto a camel? Right? How hard would that have been? I understand. But anyway, that's what Rusty Dave was riffing on there, and I think quite successfully as well. To do this, famously they wore skin suits, which resulted in them farting frequently due to them being compressed, and also due to it being they want to get kids enjoying it. Right? It's fun. Though the Slovene are by no means anybody's favourite Doctor Who villain, they're fantastic, you morons. What's wrong with you? They're great. What respectively they have is rendered obsolete by the fact that their weakness is vinegar, right? Or the Doctor more accurately put it, acetic acid. And again, you had the whole thing. You put the pickled onions and putting everything together. And Rose like, oh, you kiss this man. I like the tension between Nine and Mickey. The show might try and justify the sweetness by explaining that the Sylvian are living calcium, but it does little to excuse how easily Jackie Tyler takes one of them out by pouring a pitcher of pickled foods on it. Well, again, if you don't know how to do it, then you don't know how to... Really? I mean, if you don't know about that, then oh, it's so easy to kill a human. You just hold their head underwater for 5 minutes. That's it. That's all you need to do. If you don't know about that, then it's not such a... really, who walks around with packets of vinegar on them just in case they come across a semi-shape changing type of alien that might blow up? I mean, that is a really dumb criticism. What? And it's not overly surprising. It's a really dumb criticism because it's a really dumb article. This is a really dumb article. The Zygotes are helpless to the swing of a clocked pendulum. What? What are you talking about? The Doctor Who is home to several species of shape-shifting aliens. The Zygotes are made the most iconic for several reasons. Well, they made them most iconic because the original design was far superior to this, right? If you look at it, the original design was, I love that seahorse kind of feel to it, right? They were beautiful and horrifying at the same time. I always felt this was so much weaker, the modern counterpart. The ring keepers, they have creepy whisper voices. Their technology is fascinating, given the biological components of it. You're supposed to stimulate them by rubbing them, but essentially to fly a Zygon ship, you have to jack it off, right? Let's go faster. That's the law, mate. I'm not making it up, but if I did, I would make up something like that. In all fairness. And their pumpkin design amongst the most inspired of all Doctor Who. Again, the original much better. While the Zygotes have improved as alien adversaries over time, no, I don't think they have. Fans might be shocked to learn the villainous shapeshifters could have been stopped in all their episodes by a grandfather clock. What are you talking about? What? In one of the more obscure pieces of Doctor Who media, the 1997 video game Destiny of Doctors, which I very much played and enjoyed, right? It was on my... I had a PC back then. The aliens were shown to be easily hypnotized by a clock pendulum. The fact that many people have rightly forgotten about... Are you kidding me? It was a throwaway bit from a game that's forgotten. And there was a lot of things in that game that I wouldn't necessarily say is a hard and fast law, right? No, that's just dumb. Again, it's just dumb. Krillitanes burst into flame when covered in their own oil. I don't think that was the case, but okay. And I don't know. Again, this doesn't seem so stupid to me, right? The Krillitanes are one of Doctor Who's most underrated monsters, considering their ability to take on characters of races they've conquered. I'm amazed they're just a one-time foe, right? They're fantastic. It makes them a formal foe and serves as several contrasts to their low-key plan in School Reunion. What was the low-key plan? I can't remember. To take over the universe using math. Oh yeah, they're trying to make some kind of supercomputer using the kids, right? Something like that. Augmenting them with Krillitane oil, right? Though the Krillitane are brilliant for a number of reasons, one of their most befuddling aspects is a race weakness to Krillitane oil. Well, again, why? I don't understand what It's humans are susceptible to normal human fire. Okay. Though expanded through media such as the Krillitane Storm, never read it. I think it was a book. Yeah, I don't think I read it. Has tried to justify the weakness as a consequence of the constant physiological alterations. It doesn't explain how they're able to naturally produce the oil without being harmed. again, I mean, I just think that's a dumb nitpick, right? I mean, maybe there's so many things. Maybe the old like becomes lethal after it's out the body, or so. Who knows? It's just dumb, right? That is just dumb. Davros has a kill switch on his chair. They might have a point with that one, right? But like, do not press; it will kill me. What was that in? I think they only put it in for the kill switch. If I remember right, I'm going to find out by reading it in a minute. That's from Destiny of the Daleks, where they had the thing that would detonate the bombs, that the very cool looking bombs that the Daleks had strapped around them in Destiny of the Daleks. That's one of the best bits of Destiny of the Daleks. Do I have the figure around here? I can't reach it, but it will look for it. It's over there. I can't reach it, but it's very cool. And then, the detonation button was on Davros's chair. Okay, is that what they're talking about? The creator of the Daleks is one of the smartest characters in Doctor Who. Yes, I do kind of like the way he went on to become like a supervillain, right? Besides being able to being the forebear to the Daleks, Davros created a multitude of weapons during the war between the Thals and the Khaleds, and thwarted death or sentence despite his crippled body. Given Davros' massive intellect, it remains puzzling why he has an on-off life support on-off switch on his life support chair. That does seem to be a bit of a big flaw, right? It's a massive design flaw that the Doctor nearly utilized to prevent the creation of the Daleks in the classical genesis of the Daleks. I mean, again, it was a simpler time, I guess, and all electronics had an on-off button, right? It was like electronic in the 70s. It had an on-off button. That was very, very important for us, right? So I don't know. It just seems to be a product of its time. I think you're being a bit of a dick here, but I think you're being a bit of a dick because you're a clueless idiot who knows nothing about Doctor Who. Kane melts when exposed to direct sunlight. No, that's the whole point of this character. That he has to live in freezing conditions, and that's his natural habitat. How is that a dumb weakness? Well, like Mr. Freeze weakness, it's the same thing. That's not a dumb weakness. I'm sorry. That was quite good. One of the classic Doctor Who's least regarded stories. Fuck off! Dragonfire was good. I like Dragonfire. It was the best one of the season. It wasn't a great season. It wasn't a great season. But that was great. The Doctor ends up in a space trading colony called Icewell, where he teams up with an old acquaintance to find a hidden treasure. It wasn't originally written as Sabalon Glitz. It was just like a space barrow boy or something like that. I think it was. Little does he know that the duplicitous Kane wants the treasure for himself. Well, we kind of picked up on that pretty early on. And look, there's a lot to take the piss out of that story. I mean, the very cheap production values, like the plastic sheeting instead of ice, the weirdly climbing over the guardrail at the end of part 1, that weird cliffhanger, which could have been fixed so easily, especially for the Blu-ray. You could have just done digitally airbrushed it so it looks like the gangplank, the walkway is closed off, and he has to go down there. It's broken. He has to go down there to find a way. There's a lot they could have done there, but they didn't, sadly. Fine. While Kane is a mostly forgettable Doctor Who villain with bland motivation, I like Cat. I'm sorry. No. His performance was something that really made that story work well. I thought it was great. It was a refugee from Juliet Bravo, as I recall. Still not up there with the Shake and Vac lady, though. Okay, that's he had a good performance. Didn't have the Shake and Vac lady's ass. Very good ass. While Kane is blah blah blah. He does stick out for his death sequence, which is lifted straight from Raiders Lost Ark. Also, basically from The Abominable Snowman, which I just finished watching yesterday. Oh boy, that is not a good story. I am surprised. I thought it'd be much better. I mean, listen, again, I might have COVID and I was tired when I was watching it going, oh God, let this end. But I think it was boring, right? I think it was pretty darn boring. I think that was the problem with it. Despite being an ice-based creature, an ice-based creature had the power to kill humans by touching them. Because he's so super cold, right? Okay. It's only ridiculous the cane would melt when exposed to direct sunlight, considering the lack of heat it will give off. What? Why would sunlight not give off heat? And I kind of got the feeling that he was like lowering heat shields or cold shields or something. Again, frankly, that you're on episode number 5 right now, and you're scratching at straws, right, to try and find down to Kane. I think indicates that you didn't really think this one through totally, did you? No, probably not. The old god of Akatine defeated by a leaf. Now, I don't really remember this story because I remember it being crap, right? And I remember hating the leaf, right? And I remember I hated everything about this episode, right? The leaf like blew into Clara's mother's face, and she was like, "Oh, my stars!" It was just very fake, which is what I found Clara to be. I just found her being a very. I like the naturalistic performance of Karen Gillan or what's his name? Who played Bill Potts? Paul Mackey, right? There was basically if you look at all the companions in the revival, you got Billy Piper's Rose, you got Martha, you have Donna, you have Amy, and then you got Bill Potts. All very naturalistic, realistic characters. Whereas you got Clara, she was just a bit smug and seemingly unreal. Like just seemed too contrived. Yeah, contrived. That was a word. So and also this is the one with the Flash Gordon space bike in it. Maybe I should give it a rewatch, right? Maybe that might make it better. Maybe if now don't do drugs, kids. But if you drop acid and watch it, it might be really good, or might be really bad. I don't know, but don't do drugs, kids. But that sounds like not a bad use of your time, especially if you're in lockdown like me. The Rings of Akatane is one of the Doctor's most polarizing episodes. Okay, some have called it emotionally resonant drama that does more for Kara's character than the rest of season 7, while others deem it a boring ball of nothing. Could be both, actually. I think both. Regardless of how fans feel about the quality of the episode, there seems to be a consensus that the old god of Akatine shouldn't have been defeated by Clara's special leaf. As I recall, and again, I'm clutching at straws here, right? Because I think it was more like the emotional resonance behind the leaf that made it work, right? It was like what were the vampires or the herbivores warded off by what's his name? Commander. What's his name? Not Commander Millington. That was the English guy. The Russian guy, right? When he takes off his Russian badge, right? The hammer and sickle. Were they warded off by the hammer and sickle? No, by the faith behind it, right? Oh, and a really great little Easter egg. If you've never seen it, when the Doctor does it, when the Doctor has to ward off the herbivores, the thing he has faith in, you see him say is the names of all his companions. It's really cool. Really recommend you check that out. I love that. That was a teeny tiny Easter egg. The idea behind the leaf contains an infinite number of potential causalities. Is sound on paper, but frankly, chalks up to being melodramatic, overblown, considering Clara is relatively a normal person, even if she's the impossible girl. Well, she wasn't, though. She was, like, very, very, very contrived, right? She was a very contrived companion. So, again, I mean, I can't. Honestly, I wish I could remember what it was that actually. I can't even remember the God of HaGeffen. Maybe I have to rewatch it. Oh, do I have to? I don't know. Yeah, I think so. Sontarans are addicted to chocolate. Well, this makes sense because this is Chris Chibnall. Everything Chris Chibnall does is say, although, you know what? No, I'm going to defend Chris Chibnall. Bloody hell, look at me. This is actually kind of fun because it's a way of, it's a very kiddie thing, right? Having Sontarans like go nuts for chocolate is an interesting new, string to their bow, right? And again, I don't like any of the Christian. I think I've been quite plain through all this. I don't like anything Christian or Jodie would have done. I think I'm in the hands of a better showrunner, writer. This wouldn't have been such a silly idea, a terrible idea. But I can't. Yeah, it is kind of fun. So you know, I'm gonna again defending Chris Chibnall. Didn't see that coming. Historically, the Sontarans' main witness have been the ventilation probe on the on the back of their necks. While it's always been questionable vulnerability considering the Sontarans' status as a race of genetically altered beings. Well, sort of, not really. It is a justifiable one for the plot. It's as justifiable as the chocolate thingy, right? What's less forgivable than the ventilation probe is a vent, not a probe. What? Don't go probing is a threat. Is the recent revelation that Sontarans are susceptible to sugar's addictive qualities. Though the scene of a Sontaran hungering for chocolate is hysterical, it ultimately degrades the villains to a degree where you can't see them and think they're sort of a threat anymore. I mean, if they made that an ongoing thing, like they turned the Sontarans into the Oompa Loompas, yeah, it would. But I think for a one-time thing, it was kind of, they've never been on contemporary Earth, and they're like maybe they. Look, the execution was terrible. Everything about the flux was terrible. But you know, I still think that's an idea that could have worked and would have been a bit more fun. Look at this. I'm not even going to have time to get the second article. There's too much to take the piss out of. What can I tell you? The Absorbulov can't hold people he's absorbed when his cane is broken. Why not? Like what? Why is that bad? That's what gave him his superpower, right? That's what made him the Absorbulov. And look, I know a lot of people do not like Love and Monsters at all. I like Love and Monsters a lot, okay? I think it's a fun story. I do think it's weird how the woman Moaning Myrtle ends up in a paving stone at the end, who would occasionally give a blowjob to... what's his name? I can't remember the name of the guy. Famous actor, famous cis actor. But what happens if he grows old? Like, it's just gonna be weird. Like, and dies. Like, what happens to that slab? What? Wouldn't it be interesting if you had like, again, this is too fan wanky, but like in the 22nd century, they come across the slab again, right? And she's still there. I think it'll be interesting. The main threat, the Doctor's most contentious episode, the Absorbulov, took the form of Victor Kennedy to infiltrate Linda. I love Linda, right? I do. I really like... You know what I love about Love and Monsters? How you had a bunch of these, like, gawky, not perfect people all just kind of find each other, right? And they found a little friend group. And I really liked it. I liked them all doing the ELO stuff. It just made that episode I find uplifting, right? I mean, uplifting, it's cheerful, it makes me happy. I do like seeing them all together like that. Of course, he'll get killed horribly. To take out the Doctor, he was decidedly silly threat, but one befitting of the Love and Monsters plot. So the Absorbulov was designed by as part of a Blue Peter competition. Again, another reason I love Ross Lee Davies running Doctor Who. So Blue Peter, if you don't know, is a children's TV show in England. I'm not sure if it's still running. But he had a competition to design a monster, very similar to the Patrick Troughton design a monster competition from the 60s. But this one, the monster actually got to be put in TV. So they did the Azulov. They brought the kid in and to it. Oh, he's supposed to be as big as a double-decker bus. The kid said, he's like, oh, I didn't know. Rusty Davis said. Again, I love that. I do think it's really, really cute and sweet. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Bumblingly British about the whole thing. I really do enjoy it. As the Azulov names implies, the villain absorbs a bit. Well, again, it was developed by a kid. It was designed by a 5-year-old. Despite his natural power, he was defeated by the Doctor breaking his cane, which stabilizes his ability to maintain body control of the people he absorbed. Needless to say, it makes the Azulov look incredibly weak, which makes one wonder how useful his natural absorbing abilities are. Maybe his naturally absorbing abilities don't suck in and destroy people. Maybe it's just like a much more benign thing that they just and he's developed it into an evil superpower because of his cane. Again, I don't think they've made the case in any of these examples whatsoever. Do you? Okay, what's the number one? What's the name of this stupid article? Ridiculous weakness. How would they fix Doctor Who? What is their number one? The Cybermen choke on gold. Why? What makes that stupid? Right? What makes that? Although it doesn't matter. Here's an article which we're getting to at some point in the future. 10 times the Cybermen were right. This article, when you read it, it's the reader saying, and it must be one of these younger kids who live on Twitter, basically saying, I like the conformity of the Cybermen. I'm more of that, please. I'm not sure we'll get to that soon. We'll get to that in a few days. I don't know when. One of the Doctor's creepiest villains, the Cybermen's technological augmentations make them tougher than the average human. Most firearms are ineffective against them unless you stand right in front of them and shoot them in their jaw. And if you're a Davros actor dressed as a person, right? They can withstand the pressures of space and have the ability to adapt to their environments to overcome any previous weakness. Despite this impressive physical capability of Cybermen, they are weak against gold, as its non-corrosive nature, provided the metal enters the lungs and the breathing apparatus. I thought that was actually quite clever. I like that. They had to develop the glitter gun, Volga, Planet of the Gold. It's a ridiculous weakness. Why? Considering the Cybermen's logic of eliminating all physical weakness, and is rendered nonsensical by the fact they walk across the moon, a satellite that lacks oxygen. Okay, but who cares? Let's say the gold, especially if you have a badge for mathematical excellence, right? And it gets crumbled into your breathing unit. Makes it so you asphyxiate, even though you don't need to breathe. There's a lot you could do to explain this, okay? Well, you know what this article is? This article says, whoever wrote it says, I lack imagination, right? I lack imagination. I also lack knowledge of Doctor Who. And that's why I don't like it. Well, may I say, you need to have a bit of imagination to like Doctor Who. Why do you need to have a bit of imagination like Doctor Who? Well, a few reasons, but more than anything, Doctor Who is a show that encourages you to think outside the box, encourages you to be imaginative and think differently and look at things from a different point of view, which I can understand. The idiot who wrote this doesn't really like very much. So there you go. An idiot desperately trying to improve Doctor Who while not understanding what Doctor Who is in any way, shape or form. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share and subscribe and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.